So to catch everybody up, if you were not here for the last stream, what we are watching has just been opening arguments in the Angela Hock midwife trial. This is a person who is a unlicensed midwife in Nebraska, where it is illegal for a licensed nurse midwife to attend home births, and that creates a bit of a underground midwifery scene. I don't agree with that being the way the legislation works there, and I don't think that that should be illegal. I think that's a problem that we should lobby against. But in this case, what happened was a seemingly irresponsible decision to continue with a birth that was a footling breech baby in somebody who had had a prior cesarean delivery and resulted in the death of the baby. That is, I admit and agree, a relatively biased way to present this, but you should all know how I feel about the fact that that is not something we should be doing in people's houses. So we're moving on from the opening arguments, which were basically the prosecution saying that what I just said, like it was irresponsible for somebody to agree to have that kind of a birth in somebody's house. And that means you should be held liable for both practicing medicine without a license and for allowing that to happen under your watch without recommending strongly that somebody do not have that be what happens. And then the defense's arguments being, the problem is the Nebraska law, which creates an underground midwifery scene and allows for this kind of stuff to happen, which I agree is a problem and does facilitate this, but it does not take away the personal responsibility that I think this person should face for practicing medicine without a license to do so and for not making better recommendations regarding the person's care.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for about 8 years.
How long have you known Emily?
For about 10 years.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 living children and 1 that passed away.
Okay. Who was your first child? What's her name?
My first child is Sabra Alabama No.
Okay. And then your second child?
Is Vera Avamir No.
Okay. And is Vera the child who passed?
Yes.
Okay. And how old is Sabra?
Sabra is 5 years old.
Okay. And you have had 2 other children since Vera passed, is that
Yes.
right? How old are they?
My son Harold is over a year now, and our newest daughter, Avamir, is just born in August.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to direct your attention back to, around the time when you were pregnant or your wife was pregnant with Sabra. What year would that have been that she was pregnant? When did you find out she was pregnant?
She was pregnant with Sabra back in 2017.
Okay. When you were making a birth plan for Sabra, did you consider using midwife services?
Yes, we had several options, including midwife services.
All right. So you considered things other than midwifery?
Yes.
Okay. What was the reason you were thinking about using midwifery?
It was to find a connection and gain a trust and understanding patient care for my wife, Emily.
Were you specifically interested in giving birth at home, or were you also looking into using midwives in a hospital setting?
It was an option, both options.
Did your wife have some hesitations about going into a hospital setting?
Yes.
Okay. Is that because she suffers from PTSD from hospital settings?
Along with extreme anxiety, yes.
Nixie Pixie, I, to be fair, actually don't think that the parents did anything wrong either. I think that this should not fall on the parents at all.
That was
they had used
Angela Hock.
this midwife in a previous pregnancy,
Yes,
and everything went fine. They were being
seated
told
what
by this midwife
She's currently
that
sitting on the right side of the room wearing a white
that
leopard
she
shirt.
was able to
I'd ask the record
take
to
care
reflect
of
the words
this,
of identification.
and
Record will so reflect.
How did you and Emily go about
I don't
finding
think
Angie Hock?
parents have
My wife,
any
Emily,
liability
had
here.
found Angie Hock on Facebook through groups and word of mouth, and we proceeded to reach out to her from there.
Are you aware of whether Angie Hock has a website with her
I
services?
follow, yeah.
I
agree.
would assume that she has a website with her services.
Did you ever remember you personally looking at her Nebraska Birth Keepers website?
Me personally, no.
You left that up to Emily?
Yes.
Once you found her, did you eventually meet her?
Yes.
Where was Angie Hock located?
To my knowledge, in Kearney, Nebraska.
At some point, preparing for Sabra's birth, did you actually travel to Kearney to meet her?
Yes.
And at this time, were you living here in Omaha?
Yes.
Were you stationed out at Offutt Air Force Base?
Yes.
How many times do you think you traveled to Angie Hock's home in Kearney to meet with her?
In total, including Vera's pregnancy, I would say 4 times.
Okay. What kind of things happened when you went to Angie Hock's home?
We would meet with her for prenatal care, a visitation to catch up on how Emily's pregnancy was going, and to continue to work on our birth plan.
What do you mean by prenatal care?
Whatever expertise or knowledge that Angie would provide us, we would listen, and we would simply listen and take into what she was saying.
Do you know whether she was a certified midwife?
To my knowledge, she was. I did not know whether she was certified or uncertified.
Okay. Did she express to you she had training in midwifery?
She expressed that she had experience in training, yes.
Did you eventually sign a contract to use her for Sabra's birth?
To my understanding, I signed a contract to use her for Vera's birth. I do not explicitly recall if I signed one for Sabra's birth.
At any rate, at some point, did you decide that you and Emily, that you were going to use Angie Hock to help with the birth of Sabra?
Yes.
Okay. When was Sabra born?
Sabra was born November 23rd, 2017.
During Sabra's birth or her laboring, did Angie Hock come to assist?
Yes.
So would she have had to drive from Kearney
Yes.
to here to Omaha?
Yes.
Was anybody with her during Sabra's birth?
I'm going to try
yes.
to change
Who was with
the
her?
battery in my
doula,
camera because it's not
Nikki.
charging for some
I
reason.
only know her
And
first name.
if
I
my
don't remember her last name. And another
self
assistant
never comes
attendant
back,
with her.
I
Was that
apologize.
assistant
I
in
will
part serving as
try to fix
photographer
it.
for the
Yes.
occasion? Had you met Mickey before?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you meet Mickey?
We met Mickey at, I believe, at Angie's home.
Did you like Mickey?
Yes.
What did you like about Mickey?
Mickey provided a more motherly and maternal side of practice. Being a doula, she supported more of an emotional side, and especially attended to Emily's needs. And that's what we really liked about her.
Like what kind of things attended to her needs? What do you mean?
Just Mickey's overall personality, the atmosphere that she created, along with working with Angie. The two of them were a really great team, and that's why we had trust in them, and we wanted to use them.
You said you had trust in them. Why did you, specifically about Angie Hock, why did you have trust in her?
She was willing to listen and understand Emily and the traumas that she has experienced through hospital settings, and so that was a really big part of what we were trying to seek out, was a patient care relationship between Emily and her provider.
How long did Emily labor with Sabra? Do you remember?
Emily labored with Sabra for 56 hours.
That's a long time.
It is.
Was Angie Hock there the entire 56 hours, or did she come several hours into the circumstance?
To what I remember, she was there the whole entire time.
Okay. And was that in the same house that you labored with Vera?
Yes.
Was Sabra able to be born at home?
No.
What happened at home? At some point you went to the hospital?
Yes.
Why did you go to the hospital?
The labor stalled out. Sabra's head got stuck, or she stopped coming. I don't know all the extensive knowledge behind the terminology, but
I can't
the
change my
labor
camera battery, so
progression
when
stopped.
it starts getting
And
close to
due
dying, we'll just
the
have to
stalling labor,
end the stream, but
Angie
we still have
advised us to
time
go
left.
to the hospital.
When Angie told you to go to the hospital, did you hesitate at all?
No.
Why not?
Because she advised us to go to the hospital.
Did you trust Angie Hock?
Yes.
I think that this is a very important point. Last time, when this midwife advised for them to go to the hospital, they did not hesitate and they immediately went. There's no reason to think that that would be different if they were appropriately advised in this pregnancy that they should go to the hospital.
And did you drive to the hospital that day, or did you call the ambulance?
We drove.
Okay. So you're saying the head stuck. That means that Sabra was coming out head first, coming out in the normal way she should have come out?
Yes.
What hospital did you go to?
We went to Bellevue Medical.
And at Bellevue Medical, what happened there?
We arrived shortly after being told to head to the hospital. Bellevue is about a 20-minute drive, so we arrived there shortly. And when we got to the hospital, we walked in. We told the medical staff that we were currently in labor and that Emily was 10 centimeters dilated. And from there, the medical staff took their time, didn't see it as an emergency. And to my understanding, 10 centimeters means that that Sabra was crowning. And again, the medical staff just took their time, didn't see it as an emergency, didn't seem to have any urgency in the matter. And about 10 minutes of waiting in the waiting area.
10 centimeters is not
actually checked
necessarily
Emily
crowning.
and gave
10
her,
centimeters just means the cervix is
vaginal
fully
inspection
dilated.
to see how far along she was in the labor. And
Crowning can
at that
go
point,
from
then it became an emergency. urgency started to work
At,
into
like
medical staff.
hours after
They got us
10
into,
centimeters in some
maternity room,
instances.
and they started to assess what they should do. They didn't inform us due to the emergency that was in session. So a lot of it was we were just along for the ride. Being first-time parents and being in a hospital setting that neither of us had been in before, a lot of explanation and what was going on was just kind of skipped over in our sense, in our understanding.
Did they take your wife in?
Yeah, thank you, Ella. I do
Yes.
have a way to charge the
watch
camera
that?
while I'm
Yes.
streaming.
Where'd
It
you watch it
just
I was put into
is
a
not
linen
connected,
closet,
and I can't connect
and I
it
got
at
to
the
watch
moment.
from the side without anybody there to inform me what was going on. I've seen C-sections on medical sites, YouTube, things of that nature, just to educate myself, but having nobody there to tell you what is going on, especially in the sense of an emergency, caused me some trauma as well.
It was scary.
It was.
And when you say linen closet, were there actual linens there, or were you just using that as a term for a very small room?
As far as my understanding, it was a linen closet.
But somehow you were able to view what was going on.
Yes, there was a small window that was on the door, and I got to watch from there.
And was Saber born healthy?
Yes.
Okay. And beautiful?
Yes.
And how old is she today?
She's 5 years old.
My doctorate
After
is in
that,
medicine,
eventually
and
you
my
became
specialty
pregnant with
is
Vera. Is that true?
obstetrics and
That is correct.
When did
gynecology.
you first learn that Emily was pregnant with Vera?
I learned that Emily was first pregnant with Vera around August, I believe.
So she was born in June.
I apologize. I said August. I'm very much have trouble with dates, especially when it comes to the conceiving time frame.
Right. So she was born in June of 2019.
Yes.
So did you find out after the first trimester, sometime during the first trimester?
Sometime during the first trimester.
Okay, all right. So maybe at Christmas time,
Yes.
December the previous year, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So when you were pregnant with Vera, did you again discuss with Emily about what the birth plan was going to look like?
Yes.
Were you ultimately wanting to again try to do a birth at home?
Yes.
Now, did Emily do any prenatal care with any doctors prior to Vera's birth?
Yes.
Okay. After going to those doctors, were those doctors recommending that you do a home birth?
They were recommending the risks and assessments that come with an at-home birth, along with doing a hospital vaginal birth and along with a C-section.
Victoria, yes, that
Did
would
you
be a
understand that
typical
there was
practice
concerns
in
about
other
doing vaginal
countries
birth
where
after
home birth
C-section?
is generally
To my
considered
knowledge, there's
safer,
always
but is
concerns
not
when it
a
comes to
typical
any type
practice
of labor and
because of
delivery.
the various ways that things happen in the
Ultimately,
U.S.
did you
with
decide that
midwifery
you
care.
wanted to decide that you wanted to give birth vaginally at home again?
Yes.
Okay. And when you made that decision, who did you want to use as a midwife?
We wanted to use Angela Hock as a midwife
And why was that?
because we had a relationship with her. We enjoyed our experience that we had with Sabra at the home birth, and due to the traumatic hospital experience following Sabra's birth, we wanted, again, that comfort of home and that trust and reliable relationship with Emily's provider.
So, is it fair to say that Angela Hock knew that Sabra was born via C-section?
Yes.
You told her about those things?
Yes.
Did you discuss with her about the dangers of doing doing a vaginal birth after C-section?
I would say that a part of Angie's risks and assessments and the discussions we had with her, that those proceeded, yes.
Okay. So you talked to her a little bit about the possible risks of that.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you, and I'll need to approach your court reporter to mark an exhibit.
May approach.
Marked exhibit 128. And take a minute just to flip through the pages there and tell me whether you recognize that.
Yes, I do recognize this.
What is exhibit 128?
It is Angie Hawk's birthkeeper contract.
And in this exhibit 128, this is a copy of the document you signed, correct?
Correct.
Because there are some points in here in which I think we have your initials and Emily's initials, and then ultimately their signatures on the final page. Is that right?
That is right.
At this point, I'll offer exhibit 128.
Any objection? No objection? All right, 128 received.
We're going to try to go through some of this here. All right, and see how this is Nebraska Birthkeeper on top here?
Yes.
Is that
Putting
what
this
you
on
said?
2x speed because
Her business
this
was
is way too much
Yes.
time.
I'm showing you under
Knowledge.
my manifesto. See the second sentence here? It says, I provide concrete knowledge, ancient wisdom, and current research so women can take back their power by making fully informed choices. Do you see that?
Yes.
Did she ever explain to you what ancient wisdom was or concrete knowledge?
I would say that my experience and knowledge cannot explain exactly what all that entails or covers.
Did you always
Okay, let's read this. My manifesto. That is, first off, a very weird way to phrase this document. That is odd, in my opinion. Nebraska Birthkeeper provides traditional midwifery services as an option for pregnant and birthing women. So already here, problem, this person is not a licensed midwife. They do not have formal midwifery training, to my knowledge. They might and just don't carry a license. I don't know. But they don't have licenses because you can't do home births with a license in Nebraska. And again, this isn't something I agree with. I provide concrete knowledge, ancient wisdom, and current research so women can take back their power by making fully informed choices. I empower women to use their knowledge, intuition, and wisdom that all women have and need in order to birth and mother. I serve families who seek and value an out-of-the-box, well-rounded, and intelligent perspective. Nebraska Birthkeeper is a private membership association. In order to serve you, each person is required to apply for membership and join my private membership association. Undoubtedly, all of this is likely just how they work to get around the problems with practicing medicine without a license and providing services as a midwife, which are felony offenses if you have a license.
I always get the impression that Ms. Hock knew what she was doing.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever lack any confidence in her advice or anything leading up to Vera's birth?
No.
The contract also, if I put down here about your birthkeeper, it says I work for you directly. Do you see that?
Yes.
Did you feel that way, that she was working for you?
Yes.
Did she express that to you, that she was working for you?
I would say the assumption was there. Yes.
Did it ever feel like she put other people in front of you?
No.
Okay. All right. And on the bottom of that first page, see how it says, however, I do have boundaries for specific. Do you see that?
Yes.
I'm going on to the second page. Situations that I'm comfortable working with based on my knowledge and experience. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then it says, occasionally I may choose not to work with the client or refer them out of my care at some point. I am trained to recognize, treat, and refer potential problems before they become an issue whenever possible. What did you take that to mean?
That Angie had every right to refuse a working relationship with her client.
Did she talk to you about some of the training she had?
If she, I would say that yes, she talked with us about the training that she had, but I do not have any real in-depth knowledge on any of her training.
Okay.
We talked about this in the last stream, but this is a problem with all of the different designations of midwife, that the general public should not be left to discern who has appropriate training and who does not. When everybody calls themselves a midwife, the reasonable assumption is that they should all have appropriate training to be able to call themselves a midwife, and that's fine. That's not actually fine, but...
When you were laboring with Sabra and she said to go to the hospital, is that kind of one of the things that you felt like she was recognized to do, that she could figure out when there might be a problem?
Yes.
Okay. When you say you went to the house to meet Andrew, were there times that there were other people other than you and Emily there?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about that.
It was her home was open to the individuals that she worked with. She would have multiple clients or other patrons that she supported. And so not everybody in her home at the time that we would either see or meet up with were using her explicitly.
Okay. I'm going to go down the page a little bit further.
In the chat, the discussion regarding how long is too long before changing treatment. This is a very difficult thing to say because you don't really know what they're calling like the start of labor. If that's just like from the first contraction all the way to birth, I don't know. I mean, it can be a long time sometimes. And maybe, with that first contraction, they weren't actually in labor yet. And there was a little bit of latent labor going on. So yeah, you can't really make a decision or like an analysis of if something is too long to be reasonable without the parameters of what it's based on, what started and stopped the hours.
And that middle paragraph, you see ESN and CJN, are those your initials?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see if you look at this, I know you probably looked at it recently, but it looks like she's gone through and she has, well, number one, talked about being uncertified. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, move your
And
hand.
she's unlicensed. Do you see that?
I provide traditional midwifery services. I remain unlicensed and uncertified as a certified midwife. That does not make... So I know what she means by this, but I think that's a confusing way to state that for people who don't understand. Chat, would you understand what that meant if you read it? I remain unlicensed / uncertified as a certified midwife. Nope. Yeah, so the certified midwife part of that is saying to me that maybe she does actually have traditional midwifery training as a certified midwife, which is a high level degree and they get great training, and that she just doesn't hold a license because she wants to provide home birth. But I don't know if that's actually the case, if she did certified midwifery training. Unclear. Yeah, I agree. She's a certified midwife, but that doesn't count as being right. So yeah, I don't know either. I'm not really sure. I think I'm guessing at what she's trying to get at, but it's just weird that it says unlicensed / uncertified as a certified midwife. It's odd.
That as well.
Yes.
And then you see how she's just listed some of her trainings.
Yes.
Okay.
Being uncertified allows for various home birth situations that are safe and natural, but may be restricted under the other midwifery regulations. I have certifications from the American Heart Association in adult and pediatric first aid and adult and neonatal resuscitation. For the record, those are quite easy to get. I am currently a certified innate postpartum provider and a holistic pelvic care provider. I don't think those are real certifications, but who knows? I don't know. I have certification of completion in birth emergency skills training, birth basis disaster birth support, Gina Kibbe's art of rebozo, art and science of breech birth, and spinning babies. This is, when you are applying for your first job out of college and you're like, I have extensive work history and I am very skilled in the art and science of educating children. And what you really mean is that I was a babysitter and a nanny for 5 years, and now I also have an early childhood education degree, but I need to fluff up my resume just a little bit so that it looks like I've done a lot more than I have, which reasonably you haven't been able to do because you've been in college. It's not the same scenario, but when you fluff up however you word something so that it looks really good to somebody else, but maybe you fudge just a little bit, or you say, oh, I have all of these, I only had 3 people in my I only had 4 people in my residency class. It would be like me saying, I was in the top 50% of my graduating class. Well, yeah, there was only 4 of us. It doesn't take a lot to be there.
You would have read this when you signed this, is that right?
That's correct.
One of the things in here is, I can find it now. See where it says art and science of breech birth?
Yes.
Prior to Vera's birth, did you ever have any specific conversations with her about the dangers of breech births?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And here it talks down to here where it says alternative remedies and routine breech presentations. Any conversations with her? Again, I just asked the same question about breech presentations or the dangers that come with a breech.
It's never good when your actual legal paper has had to be corrected with marking out a letter and replacing it.
Not specifically, no.
And obviously, you were told about her breech training because you signed this document. Would you agree with me?
I would agree, along with all the other information that is there.
We've all done that, ABC. It's just that you probably shouldn't if you're a doctor or a midwife.
Was she doing some prenatal care with doctors at Offutt or through your insurance?
Yes.
I guess we already talked about that you had conversations with them about vaginal birth after C-section.
Yes.
I also want to show you this contract.
I've referred people to the Spinning Babies website before, but it is a fluffy thing to say you're certified in.
That day?
Yes.
How did you feel about that, the fact that she'd be bringing a baby into the situation?
That her nursing child needed their mother, and so we wanted to give her that same respect and same care and responsibility that she was giving us.
Did it bother you at all that there was going to be an extra child there?
No.
And at the bottom of that page, see where it says, except for extraordinary circumstances, I will remain with you throughout birth and beyond. See that?
No such thing as a routine
Did she
breech
remain with you,
birth.
and then after Sabra was born, did you continue to have contact with her?
Yes, we continued contact.
Not in someone's house.
I want to go to page 4 of Exhibit 128. I want to look, see where it says limitations.
Yes.
That first line talks about, as parents choosing a home birth with Nebraska birthkeeper, you are taking responsibility for your own pregnancy and birth, and therefore you are responsible. Is that something you appreciated about midwifery, that you could make your own decisions about how your birth plan looked?
Yes.
Okay. And here at the last sentence of that, it says, I'm here as a consultant and expert in normal birth. Do you see that?
Yes.
Did you expect with her consultation that she knew things and had an expertise in normal birth?
Yes.
Would you consider normal, what would you define as normal birth?
I would consider a normal birth anything that is not listed as high risk.
Okay. So in your...
Well, breech birth then would not be included in that definition.
Is a breech birth a normal birth in your mind?
According to my understanding, if a breech birth is not listed as high risk, then that would be considered, to me and my knowledge, a normal birth.
It is high risk. I don't know who you're asking to make that list for you, but it is.
Okay.
And again, this is not on the parents. They should not be the ones to need to know that. it should be listed as high risk because it
And
is.
here on the next page, you see where it says, I
by
would
the
attempt to remain
midwife.
with you as allowed by the hospital or family.
Yes.
And right here, about third paragraph down, I do not make decisions for you. I will help you get the information necessary to make informed decisions, and I expect members to respect my advice and request, but you are the final decision.
I just still do not understand how this is not practicing medicine without a license.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Did you respect her advice in both Sabra and Vera's birth?
Yes.
And here's a paragraph where you put your signatures where she's having you initial that she's not responsible or liable for any problems. Do you see that?
Yes.
And finally, if we go on through this, I'm not going to go through every line, but at some point, she defined for you what services she's giving you, and ultimately there's also a portion here on the last page about the fees. Do you see that?
Yes.
Obviously, you paid fees for Sabra's birth, is that right?
That's correct.
How much did you pay for Sabra's birth?
What is on the contract is what we pay for Sabra's birth.
Okay. And I should have asked you when I got up there, but we'll just make it clear. Because you were talking about whether you don't know if you signed a contract with Sabra, but this is May of 2019, so this would have been the contract that you entered into for Vera's birth, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, now I want to take you to the night that Emily first started going into labor. When was your baby due, Vera?
I do not have the exact date on when Vera was supposed to be born.
When she went into labor, was that at or around the time? This wasn't a concern that she's going into labor early. It was about around the time she was due.
Correct.
Okay. How did the pregnancy go with Vera?
With Vera, the pregnancy went very well. Same exact pregnancy that with Sabra.
No issues?
No problems. For 9 months, no concerns.
Where were you at when Emily went into labor?
I was at work at hospital days.
Did you get a phone call?
Yes.
And did you come home?
Yes.
Approximately what time was that?
I received a phone call in the evening.
Okay. And what did you learn from that phone call?
I learned that Emily's water had broke.
Did you come right home?
Yes.
By the time you got home, was Angela Hock there yet?
No.
Okay. How did you reach out to Angela Hock, or did Emily reach out to Angela Hock?
Emily reached out to Angie.
Okay. What time did you understand Angie was going to arrive to help?
Sometime early morning.
When did she arrive?
Around 5 a.m.
Okay. When she arrived, was anybody with her?
Yes.
Who was with her?
Mickey was with her, along with Angie's son.
Okay. How old approximately was Angie's son at that time?
I couldn't say. Old enough to still need his nursing mother.
Okay. You weren't surprised by that because we saw a moment ago that the contract included that might be that she might bring her nursing child, correct?
Correct.
All right. Do you remember where you were at when they arrived?
We had opened the front door for them.
Okay. Where were you?
Assisting with inviting them into our home.
Okay. Did you actually come to the door? Or were you upstairs and they just came in, or what do you?
We came to the door.
Okay. Was Emily up moving about at that time? Do you think?
Yes.
Okay. Where was Sabra?
Sabra was already with her godparents.
Okay. That was probably part of the plan when you went to labor that Sabra was going to go with someone else.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any animals around?
At the time, yes.
Okay. Which kind of animals did you have around?
We have cats and dogs.
All right. Once Mickey and the defendant arrived, what happened next?
We proceeded with our birthing plan, which, to my remembrance, basically Angie and Mickey take care of us, provide great hospitality, make Emily as comfortable as possible, and we proceed with labor and delivery at its own course.
Okay. Did they stay there throughout the day?
Throughout the day, yes.
Okay. At any point did they leave?
Yes.
Okay. Approximately what time did they leave?
They left for around lunchtime.
Did I miss something? Did they say she had her water broken for 56 hours? Is that actually what they said, Victoria? I don't want to rewind because the video is already way too long, but I will talk a little bit about prolonged rupture of membranes. No, this is not a tort case because this person does not have a medical license. Okay, so 56 hours with broken water is a very, very long time. Even so, I think in the US that we manage full-term rupture of membranes a bit aggressively, that we could give people a bit more time to go into labor on their own. But 56 hours is well beyond that time frame where that's reasonable. 56 hours is not necessarily going to be, oh my God, this is a death sentence, everything horrible is going to happen. It's just that once your water's been broken about 24 hours, if you're full term and you haven't gone into labor, it is very sensible to go ahead and get started on some antibiotics to decrease the risk of neonatal sepsis, and also to start with augmenting labor to also decrease the risk of both neonatal and maternal sepsis in the process of the delivery. So yes, 56 hours is a very long time.
Okay. All right. So up until lunchtime, how intense was it with labor?
But certainly would, even here, so in Aotearoa, New Zealand, it's very common to have a home birth, but 24 hours with your water broken would risk you out of home birth here and out of birthing center birth. You would be recommended to go to the hospital at that point.
I would say as intense as any other normal pregnancy.
Were you staying with your wife the whole time?
The whole time.
Okay. So the defendant and Mickey went to lunch?
Yes.
Do you know where they went?
No.
How long were they gone?
I can't say exactly how long they were gone, but they were gone for a period of time.
Was it an hour? Was it 2 hours? Was it a few minutes?
It was, I would say it was an hour.
Okay. Did that surprise you that they went out?
I would say I wasn't surprised.
Okay. Did it bother you that they left?
No.
Okay. Now, had you paid your contract we talked about? Did you pay something in advance for Ms. Hock's services?
Yes.
Okay. Well, how much did you pay?
$700 for the deposit.
While she and Mickey were gone, did things progress normally, or did they intensify, or what happened when they were gone?
I can't remember exactly how things progressed while they were gone. Again, like any other normal pregnancy.
Okay. Did they come back eventually, or did you have to call them to come back?
We messaged them to call back.
Okay. And why did you do that?
At the time, we had felt that we wanted to reach out to them and see if they could come back.
Okay. And did they?
Yes.
Okay. How'd things go once they got back?
From there, when they came back, started up with a normal birth plan of, again, hospitality, taking care of us, making sure Emily's comfortable, and her labor and delivery was proceeding as normal.
What was Emily doing most of her laboring in the house?
Most of her laboring is getting up, walking around, moving baby with medicine ball, rubbing her back, rubbing her feet, just taking care of her, making her as comfortable as possible.
Was she sometimes lying on your bed?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibits 1 through 62. And I showed you these before we came up here this morning. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
And you had a chance to look at these various photographs?
Yes.
Were these pictures taken a few days after, I'm sorry, Vera's passing?
Yes.
Did law enforcement not take these pictures?
Yes.
Do these pictures fairly and accurately depict the way your home appeared on around that time?
Yes.
Do any of these pictures, I imagine maybe different things, clothing or things might move around, but is the furniture and the major things in this house in the same way they were when Emily was later?
Yes.
At this time I offer exhibits 1 through 62.
Oh, sorry, I've been talking a long time and my audio is not working.
I just want to go through a little bit of these.
Aurelius, they're discussing a sorry
Idea
guys.
of what your
They're
home was
discussing
like.
a
This is exhibit 1 is the front of your home.
home
is
birth
that right?
midwife who was unlicensed to practice midwifery in Nebraska, who
Exhibit 2 is just a closer up of the front of your house.
participated in a
Now, I'm interested
unsafe
in
home birth of a patient who had had
stairway.
a prior cesarean delivery
Exhibit
and
number
had
3.
a
So, what's the
footling
vantage
breech
point here? Like,
baby
if you were the photographer,
and
would your back
did
be in the
not
front door?
Yes.
strongly
come in front
recommend
of
for
your
them
house, the stairway is
to
just right
go
there.
to the
That's right.
hospital in that scenario, and the
And exhibit 4.
baby ended up dying.
What are we looking at here?
That is, as soon as you
They're
enter the
discussing
door
their
and you turn
first
to the right,
delivery
that
with
is where
this
our dining room
midwife,
is,
where
and
she
the,
did
bottom
recommend
of those.
to go to
That's
the
in the
hospital and end up
So through
having a
this door, that's the
C-section.
dining room?
Yes.
And this is gate for the animals?
Yes.
Okay. So if I go back to 3, I think I'm kind of understanding it now. When you step in the door, you can walk straight down the hallway, but you kind of have to go to the right a little bit to head upstairs.
Yes.
And exhibit 5, this is a vantage point of going up the stairs. Is that right?
That is correct.
Maybe that helps a little bit. I don't know. Exhibit 6 now, we're just going straight up the stairs. Is that right?
That is correct.
And 7 kind of more the same. Now exhibit 8. Tell me what exhibit 8 is.
That would be right in front of the bathroom door, facing our guest bedroom.
Okay. So along the right here, are these the steps?
Yes.
So if a person walked up the stairs and went to the right into this door, follow what I'm
Yes.
asking, in exhibit 8, is that the bathroom?
No, that is the guest bedroom.
Okay. If they got to the top of the stairs and went straight forward to this door, what's that door?
That is the upstairs closet.
Okay. How do you get to the bathroom from the top of the stairs?
You would have to perform the same routine as the front door. You'd go off to the left a little bit, and the bathroom is right there.
And we're probably seeing that. So if you went off to the exhibit 9, off to the left, you'd see this bathroom.
Correct.
Okay. So the rooms that's upstairs are to the right. Is that your master bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. Right in front of you is the closet door. To your left, you get to the bathroom.
Correct.
And is there another bedroom up there?
Yes.
Do you have to go beyond the bathroom to get to the other bedroom?
Yes.
And 10, this is the bathroom, correct?
Correct.
So now exhibit 12, this maybe gives us a vantage point. And so is this the top of the stairs? I'm pointing at the left side here?
No.
What is that?
That is a secondary closet upstairs.
All right. So now we've come up the stairs to get to this. Or is this your master bedroom?
That's the master bedroom.
Okay. So where's the picture taken at? Is there take her at? Is there
So if the photographer were to turn right around, that would be our guest bedroom.
the guest bedroom's behind that photographer?
Yes.
Okay. So probably the photographer to the left of the photographer right now, you go down the stairs?
Correct.
Okay. And this is
Our bed.
exhibit 13 again. This is the master bedroom, correct?
Correct.
All right. So we just want to get to exhibit 21. Is this still the master bedroom?
No,
Okay. What bedroom is this?
that is our guest bedroom.
How many beds are in the guest bedroom?
There should only be one bed in that bedroom.
I'm going to show you here in a second. There's 21, exhibit 22, exhibit 23, exhibit 24, and now exhibit 25.
I'm not
Is it
sure
the
what the
second
relevance
Yes.
of all of this
So,
layout is, but I'm
looking
gonna
back at
fast forward a
Sending
little.
to Angie's son.
Okay. Did she tell you that her experience giving breech births was with simulations?
No.
Did she talk at all about the umbilical cord?
No.
Did you ever remember hearing the word like prolapsed umbilical cord?
No.
Okay. Did she tell you about that if there is a prolapsed umbilical cord, that it can cause oxygen deprivation to a baby's brain?
No.
She knew that your first baby was C-section, right?
Yeah.
So in the opening statements, we learned that not only was this a footling breech baby, but the midwife also noted that she could feel a cord, and now we have learned that they were never told that that could be an emergency. My camera is 1% at this point, and we have been streaming for quite a while, so I'm going to wrap it up. And when we stream next time, I will try to hit just some of these high points because this is way too long. We're never going to get through it. There's several 8-hour videos on this. And we'll talk about it next time.